3 Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?
So I know we're getting close on time, but last week, did you all talk at all about Zelina Vega?
No, because that happened on Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, we can touch on that quick. I mean, we literally don't have a set time. I mean,
okay. Yeah. Just bullet point. Like, what do you guys think about the decision for WWE to release Zelina? The scuttlebutt is it's because she wouldn't shut down her OnlyFans account.
Yeah, it sounds like it wasn't the Twitch thing. It was the OnlyFans thing.
Yeah, and the OnlyFans has never been in her name. It's even under a pseudonym. It's Megan Minx, not even her name. And like, I don't even think she publicized it on her own social media.
I wasn't aware that she had one.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The cosplay.
I don't. I mean, I the only reason I knew she had a Twitch is because I had seen people talking about. Like, I don't watch Twitch streams, of course, besides not the Tool Man. But I mean, I'm not a Twitch viewer,
right?
It's because my gaming isn't that in depth, so that's not really my world. Like, here's the thing: does it suck that she is no longer in the WWE? Absolutely. However, she had her convictions. She made a choice, and I have nothing but respect for somebody that says, I want to have these outlets. I'm going to keep these outlets, and I'm going to be willing to sacrifice whatever I have to keep them. I mean, that's to me, that's like one of the ultimate kind of adult decisions. And I had a moment in my life when I was in college where I kind of had one of, not to this level, obviously, but I had an opportunity to go see the President of the United States at the time, George W. Bush, speak at Hershey, and it was on the same day that I had a test in a class in college, and I had approached my professor and I said, "Look, I have the opportunity to go see the president. Is there any way I can do a makeup test?" And he was, "Nope. The test dates are announced at the beginning of the semester, and you can not come and take the test, but if you don't get a C or better, you won't pass this test pass this class at the end of the semester for your major." So I remember going out to dinner with my parents and talking to them about the situation, and my mom is like, I was asking my parents, what should I do? And my mom said to me, she's like, "Well, are you asking me what I would do?" And I'll go, crap. Because obviously I'm thinking my mom's going to say, "Well, you should take the test," and, whatever. But she's like, "If you think that you can pass the class with getting a 0 on this test, then I would say go for it. How many opportunities are you going to have to see a president of the United States speak?" So I made the choice at the time to skip the test. I ended up passing the class. But like, that's an adult decision. When you have a choice laid in front of you of, I can make this sacrifice or I can make this sacrifice. I can stay with the WWE and let go of these outlets, or I can stand up for myself and I'm going to keep these outlets and I'm probably going to get let go from the company. And here's the thing. If she wants to stay in wrestling, there's obviously other companies that are going to love to have her. And she will land on her feet, I think, in February when the 90 days is up. Whether it's AEW, whether it's Impact, wherever. She is going to land on her feet in wrestling if she wants to. I see her point of view. I also see the WWE's point of view where they're like, for whatever reason, right, wrong, or indifferent, whether people agree with it or not, the WWE has made a choice about these third-party platforms, and they said, you know, you can't be a part of them if you're working for the WWE. So people have a choice, and I can see both sides of it. I don't necessarily think either is right or wrong. In the adult world, there's obviously times, we all know it, that there's not always a clear cut right or wrong, and this is, to me, is one of them.
Yeah, it's what do you guys think? Because
it's a shame.
There's so much to unpack with this too.
Yeah,
it is a shame, and if a lot of it falls because she has an OnlyFans site, I think it's really short-sighted for Vince McMahon. I think he would think OnlyFans, which does tend to lean toward sex work, and other things like that. I think for some reason Vince McMahon still thinks like sexuality is still like very taboo and bad for business unless he's the one creating it and controlling it wholly. I'm assuming in their contract somewhere they have to have some sort of content thing. I think that's something we see with many celebrities, that you can't be contracted to us and then go do XYZ outside of the business, whether it's your real name or not, because that would still blow back on us. So unfortunately, contract-wise, I think they had her, and there's not much, unfortunately, she could do other than play ball the way the WWE wanted her to play ball. Like Jim said, I think the field is wide open for her. Wherever she'd want to go, she would land on her feet. It's not like she's not wrestled in TNA before. So her name and her star shines brighter than it ever has. Take your talents and go elsewhere then.
What about you guys, Matt, Mark?
I never really agreed with the notion that you can't do certain things on certain platforms. But if it's in a contract and you sign the contract, then there's, that's a decision that I guess you made. I don't necessarily get why it would be an issue in certain aspects, especially on something like Twitch, where we've seen a lot of wrestlers do gaming stuff before, and it's been very well received and increased brand visibility. Xavier Woods is a good example for that. So
almost the example.
Yeah. So I don't necessarily understand it or agree with it, but if that's what you agreed to, then unfortunately that's kind of where you're at. Mark,
what say you?
I think Zelina Vega ultimately made a decision to leave the company. Even though she was let go, I think she knew what her actions were going to get into. And like Matt was saying, she signed a contract and with the WWE. So she's going to be just fine, though. I'll tell you what, it actually may even help her career. Go to another company or do whatever else she wants to do. And ultimately, I think she'll be back. But I really enjoyed her work, even in NXT. I thought she was fantastic. And they haven't even scratched the surface of her potential. Mm-hmm. So It'll be interesting to see her go to a different company, see what she does there, and ultimately where she ends up in the next few years.
Yeah, there's a couple of thoughts of for extra listening, if you guys want to hear more thoughts on this. The first 30 minutes of 83 Weeks with Eric Bischoff, Conrad and Eric talk about the term independent contractor, mm-hmm. and really breaks down like the pros and the cons of the entire situation, and also busted open radio like last week.
What was it there over the weekend shows? I know they do.
Yeah, with Mark Henry, Darby. It was the Darby Allin episode.
Okay,
but Mark Henry candidly speaks about the entire situation as a person who's on the inside.
3 Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?
Now, I know personally, like with my conversations, we meaning like my group chat that's not you guys, how many times is WWE gonna release someone who has potential, and how long until they release their Stone Cold Steve Austin? WCW let go of so many people, and eventually one of them was Stone Cold, and he changed the business. WWE's already let go of Cody Rhodes, and right, whatever you say about Cody Rhodes, like without Cody Rhodes, there is no AEW, there's no Wednesday Night War. Like it's Cody stirring that drink. But you also let go of Brody Lee. You let Jericho slip through your fingers. You let Jon Moxley go. You let Rusev go.
I mean, I think letting Jericho go is more like a any of the and this isn't just a shot on aging Chris Jericho, but like by that point WWE got, I mean, not that there wasn't still meat on the bone, but the WWE got their money's worth out of Chris Jericho. Like letting him go, I mean, yeah, sure, it gets more eyes on AEW, absolutely, but like Chris Jericho isn't AEW Stone Cold,
right?
But also other people could be,
right? Like
he's also probably a top 5 all-time wrestler that you let go to a competing company.
Sure, I mean they did that with Hogan too, and I mean ultimately it worked out for W. And not saying that possibly somebody that they let go couldn't come back to bite them, because it absolutely could. I think that is a great point, that at some point, you know, that they could potentially release that person that they really do regret. Like,
and honestly, if I'm being kind of honest, Zelina has the makings of being a transcendent star.
I agree.
Like, who's to say that next breakout star isn't a female?
Right, because the industry has changed so much.
She can talk. She can compete. She is marketable. Like, she hits demographics. And, like, unionization aside, Zelina being a free agent now and having her pick of the litter to where she wants to go or what she wants to do, it's only a matter of time before she lands somewhere, and wherever she decides to go, that's gonna shake things up,
right? Because there will be people that go with her, like viewership wise. I'm not even talking people in the business. I'm talking viewership wise.
What is the status of Aleister Black now?
That's a great question. As though he wanted to go back to NXT,
and he was denied.
Right. So I'm sure there's a degree of unhappiness there.
They're not using him.
No, I think he ended up on SmackDown. He was in that feud with Owens, but he's been relatively lost and forgotten. And I mean, here's the thing: you have a great point that the next big star, that potential to be a Stone Cold level star to a degree, could absolutely be a woman. I mean, I tweeted it today when I got done, because I watched AEW last night. I watched NXT this morning. And, you know, everybody wants to talk each week about who won the ratings, which show was better, who won. You know who won this week? Women's wrestling. Because both shows featured not only 2 great matches, and I know I had a little fun last night because I was like, you know, this was a great NWA women's title match. If only AEW would do their women's division like this, which, I mean, is still a valid point. They are starting to lay some pieces. There was a backstage segment with Brandy, and I keep forgetting Jade
Cargill.
You know, so that looks to be a thing. And Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa looks like his thing. And then last night on NXT, you know, you had Shotzi Blackheart again featured as the person announcing that War Games is a thing. And we're seeing, you know, there was a great women's tag team match. The main event, Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai, was a fantastic match. The women won the night. What, like, not AEW, not NXT. Women's wrestling won the night. And really, if you look over the past, let's just call the pandemic era, the women, I mean, obviously, especially in WWE, AEW is getting there, but the women in WWE have dominated all three brands throughout the last 8 months. So, absolutely, Zelina Vega could move the needle to wherever she goes. And if I'm AEW, and I'm Tony Khan, I'm opening the checkbook almost. Because if you're already starting to build your women's division and this tie-in with NWA, however far this goes, like, strike while the iron's hot, keep building for the next 90 days, and if Zelina Vega ends up in AEW, that's huge for them. That is absolutely huge for them.
I don't know.
And I'm not saying
bit of no, I'm not saying Zelina shouldn't be or couldn't be. There's I think questions with Tim, you know, maybe calling her the next Stone Cold. You know, WCW didn't get rid of Stone Cold Steve Austin. WCW let Stunning Steve leave. That's a big difference. The WWE made Steve Austin what Steve Austin was.
Well, I also don't think there's going to be anybody to the level of Stone Cold either.
I mean, the WCW let Mean Mark Calloway leave. They didn't let The Undertaker go. So I don't think you can necessarily rewrite history that WCW let The Undertaker. WWE let Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder go and Sean Spears
yes!
go. And
Finally!
I mean, I'm just saying. These are what they are. They let these guys go. And they're doing stuff in TNA. They're not changing professional wrestling, though.
Right. I agree to a certain point that, like, they don't let the character go, but the reason why The Undertaker is The Undertaker is because the guy that you made The Undertaker took an idea and went to 11 with it. The reason why Stone Cold Steve Austin becomes Stone Cold Steve Austin is because he ratcheted it up. Like, not just anyone could have been Stone Cold Steve Austin. Not just anyone
I agree.
could be The Undertaker. So it's hard to say, like, of these super talented people that we're seeing in the WWE, who the WWE is missing with, because at this point they were the only game in town. So they had the pick of the litter as the top of anyone. Like, case in point, they're about to get the Rascals.
Yeah.
Like, they're top of the top.
Absolutely. No questions asked.
So how many people are they going to miss on that are upper tier in the scheme of the entirety of professional wrestling? How many really great guys never became really great because everyone's great? If everyone is special, no one is special. We've said it before.
Just look at Drew McIntyre.
Drew had to leave,
right? That's what I'm
and
saying.
make himself better,
Right.
overseas and at Impact, to even get the look to come back.
Right. Same with Jinder. I mean, we've seen WWE like correct their mistakes, but I mean, still, like, you had them in the 3-man band for how long, and just didn't like give these guys the push. So, I mean, and now if you're just, it also opens the door of, if someone's unhappy, they have a quick out to their contract. Apparently, they can just start a Twitch and they're go the next day.
Right.
Yeah, sorry, you're gone.
OnlyFans.
Take 3 months off.
And I understand that there's only one ball. Like, WWE can only, like, just in any sport, like, there's only one ball. Not everybody gets to shoot.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about, like, scoring the most or getting the most eyes, you put it in your hot hand. Like, that's who gets the ball. And sometimes you don't want to take the chance on the flashy receiver or the streaky shooter in the corner. Like sometimes you run an isolation play and you get somebody, or you hand the ball off to the sure-handed running back who doesn't drop the ball. Like that's what it is. And I think now with so many other options in play, with the ability to make money on the indies and not even be with a company, with Japan being a viable option, ROH, Impact, AEW, whenever MLW, the NWA, whenever they get back on their feet, like that's where we go.
Yeah, and I mean, I think they did. I think their shows did relaunch this week, and yeah, I mean, it's you know, and I also think, and this is a topic that I mean, over the coming weeks and months, obviously, as a new political administration, you know, comes in January. You know, there's a person that has been very outspoken, Andrew Yang, that has been talking about trying to, you know, change the WWE and the way that things are run. This is what I'll say. And I'm not saying that the WWE is perfect and that everything that they're doing is right or moral or what have you. But the thing I will say in terms of the, you know, the idea of a union or changing the WWE is, you know, the whatever you do to the WWE, especially if you're talking about the word union, is going to have a ripple effect through the rest of the entire industry. And for the WWE, maybe AEW, couple of dogs at the top of the industry, then things may be better. But the ripple effect down through the indies may not be exactly as good as you want to be. I'm not an expert on unions or unionization or anything like that.
Jim, I think this should be our launch point for the recorded episode on Thursday.
Yeah, and I think that's great. So let's kind of put pause on it, and we will
I like that.
We will revisit this, and we'll obviously touch on some other things. We'll do some other fun stuff as well. But yeah, let's dig into this a little bit more and talk about this a little bit more on our recording next week. The episode, like I said, will drop on Thursday next week on Thanksgiving. But I think that's a great point, Ryan, because you know it is getting later, you know, and we're already
this is a rabbit hole conversation.
Three Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?